Okay, so we'll start with this essay about governments pushing companies to move from large cities to regional locations. State authorities forcing the major industries to shift from larger cities to smaller towns has both the merits and demerits. Okay, first of all, you should have a lead into your topic. You're giving an opinion straight away. You need to give an opinion in your introduction, but not immediately. First of all, lead into the topic. Okay, and that shows that you are following the essay question and understand the essay question. Okay, so you could say there has been debate in recent years whether local governments should encourage companies to move from large cities to regional locations. Okay, you want to paraphrase, so don't use exactly the same words, but so moving from metropolises to smaller towns. Okay. This essay will illustrate. Oh, and the other thing is, there's no such word as demerits. So let's look at the sentence. State authorities forcing major industries, delete the, to shift from larger cities to smaller towns has both merits and drawbacks. Okay. This essay will illustrate the examples of human development indices. I don't know what you mean there, that's the wrong word. And company performance to demonstrate the points and support the arguments. Okay, so this essay will illustrate using examples from human development and company performances to demonstrate the points and support the arguments. Okay. On the one hand, industrialization brings many better things into the life of the local people. Okay. Firstly, it will increase job opportunities, delete the, comma, which will increase the economic standards of these people. Okay. Improved financial status will open the doors of development. Okay, yeah, I would delete development there. Just say improved financial status will improve living conditions, basic amenities, and provide good education for younger generations. Be careful to follow through there. If you're using, like you said, will open the doors, don't change it. Don't change your tense form to providing. Okay. Secondly, many companies invest in building hospitals, roads and parks within their campus. Campus is a word for universities, not for companies. So you could say within their property or within their sites, SITES, for their employees. This will also help the people to improve their health status. So you don't say thus. So this will also help people to improve their health, not status. It's not a natural collocation there. Just improve their health. Lastly, it changes the perspectives of the people. Again, not the people. That would only be if you define a certain group of people. If you're talking about people in general, there's no article. So lastly, comma, it changes the perspectives of people about their life. So you could say it changes people's perspectives about their life and progress towards, check your spelling, should be TOWAIS, towards more positive mental health. For example, Times Magazine, so that's capital M, recently reported that the Jindal factory in Bellary district has improved the Human Development Index not by twofold within 10 years. Hence, companies have many advantages when brought into remote and small-scale cities. Okay, you need a verb there. So hence, companies bring many advantages, or you could say bring many benefits to remote and small-scale cities. I wouldn't use the word cities here because the idea is moving away from cities to regional locations, which suggests more towns and the countryside. So it has many advantages to remote. You could say small to remote and small towns. On the other hand, companies will have to compromise on several things to start up in new towns. To begin with, scarcity of qualified staff is the biggest hurdle in starting a company in remote areas. This will impact on the quality of the products that such companies that such companies produce, because you've already got you don't need it again. So this will impact on the quality of the products that such companies produce, and ultimately the company will suffer huge losses, and in some situations it may have to shut down. Okay, next is that the company will also have to use excess transportation. I wouldn't say excess, you could say extra transportation to bring resources and sell products to the main cities. Finally, most often, the expression is more often than not. So finally, more often than not, these industries have a negative effect on the environment, causing air, sound and noise pollution. So water pollution, we don't say sound pollution, we say noise pollution. So it has to be air, noise and water pollution. For example, you need to either specify, so I think it should be unannual. So for example, an annual report of a glass factory in Kannur district, so in the Kannur district, showed a 30% rise in the level of impurities in the local fresh water. So you just say in local fresh water, delete the and delete body. Thus, opening a company in a city, again, we're not really talking about cities, we're talking about regional areas or more remote areas or less developed areas, but not cities. So opening a company in a regional area which is not well prepared may reduce the reputation of the company and may cause environmental hazards. I like that. I like the way you've used may, and it's very good to be quite cautious in your claims, so well done there, and it's a good argument. To conclude, bringing major companies into small towns can be, I wouldn't use meretricious here, so to conclude, bringing major companies into small towns can be beneficial to the local residents, but sometimes such a move may backfire on the company itself. Good. Careful planning and performance-based transfer of the companies may help better in the future. Okay, there's a few mistakes there. So careful planning and maybe you mean a strategic or a well thought out transfer of the companies. I wouldn't say performance-based transfer, it doesn't really, it's not natural English. So careful planning and a strategic or a well thought out transfer of the companies may help, and I don't know what you mean better in the future. I'm not quite sure what you mean there. So do you mean maybe may help in the future? But help who? Do you mean help the regional areas, help the companies? It's too ambiguous, that sentence, for me to actually really understand it, so do think about that. But what perhaps you mean is may lead to benefits to regional areas in the future, but you need to clarify exactly what you're meaning, especially in your conclusion, because we need to get a clear viewpoint there. Okay, but you have answered the question and you provided some good arguments. Okay, so now we look at the task about the preparation of fresh tea. The flowchart given, okay, be careful with your word order, it's actually the given flowchart, or you could simply say the above flowchart, illustrates the various processes involved in the preparation, because you're giving a specific preparation. So in the preparation of 5 different types of tea from fresh tea leaves. Okay, that's good, you've introduced the topic. Overall, making the white tea is the easiest while producing, be careful your spelling, producing, delete the T, producing and again you're spelling a colon T, I think it's a U, so it's double O T, is the most tedious process as it involves multiple steps. Okay, so you can say overall making white tea, delete A because T is uncountable, so making white tea is the easiest process, while producing oolong tea is the most, I wouldn't use the word tedious, tedious is quite an emotional word, so it's the most complicated process as it involves multiple steps. That's fine. I would recommend putting your overall or your summary at the end of your task because that's a more natural place for a summary of something. Okay. Initially, fresh tea leaves and undergo through sorting and cleaning, after which they are subjected to either steaming or withering. Okay, we have to change the grammar here. Initially, comma, fresh tea leaves are sorted and cleaned, comma, after which they are subjected to either steaming or withering. So you need to use the passive. When you're describing a process, you will need to use the passive tenses. The leaves, comma, which undergo steaming are allowed to dry on their own to produce white tea. Okay, these leaves, again you've got undergo. Notice you've got undergo 3 times in this one paragraph, so that's a lot of repetition. Remember, you get lexical points, you get points for showing your wide range of vocabulary, so it's a pity to waste that opportunity by repeating the same phrase and the same word. So the leaves which undergo steaming are allowed to dry on their own, that's fine. Those leaves which, again, so we want to remove undergo, or think of another verb, okay? But you can simply use the passive here. Those leaves which are withered pass through, so you can say those leaves which are withered pass through 3 different pathways to produce either green, oolong, not C, or black tea. Okay. The withered leaves which, comma, which are subjected to heat, pan frying, steaming, frying, comma, initially are either dried with jasmine or directly rolled and shaped to produce green tea. Again it's double O. In the oolong tea process, the withered leaves edges are bruised through shaking or rolling in a basket and let's look at it, short form. So are given, I wouldn't say allowed, are given a short fermentation. Later, these leaves are pan-fried and subsequently dried to produce the oolong tea. Lastly, the withered leaves may get rolled into strips for gong fu black and fully fermented. Okay, so rolled in strips for gong fu black and are fully fermented, so you're continuing with the passive there. And later dried with the help of fire to produce black tea. All these 3 types of tea can be converted into scented tea through cooling after drying and scenting with flowers and fruits. Okay, that's a good summary actually. You've summarised it very well. As I say, put your main summary at the end of your text because that finishes it more cleanly. Be careful to follow through, use the passive more frequently and avoid repetition such as the word undergo. But you have fulfilled the task here.